RFK Jr., HHS secretary, and a crank. Oh boy. He vows to find the cause of autism. Alright. I found it already. It can be genetic. It can just like your random brain chemistry can just be fucked in your head and you have autism as a result. Yep, sorry, you got a bad roll with your brain chemistry and genetics there. Sucks to fucking suck. Or it's environmental factors. All done. Wow. Crazy. I did that in literally 5 seconds. Didn't even have to fucking research anything. Let's be quite honest. That's the cause of autism. But no, this fucking dumbass thinks it's vaccines. That's what it's really all about. We all know if it's like dumb fucking announcement of like, by September I'm gonna find the fucking cause of autism and blah blah blah. Nonsense. But what does he have to say? He's discussing findings of CDC autism survey. What do we got? What do we got?
I'm going to go over some of the key numbers from the ADDM report. Overall, the autism is increasing in prevalence at an alarming rate. The study tests 8-year-olds who were born in 2014. And by the way, these studies are 2 years later than they should be.
Okay, immediate question. Why do you why has autism gone up in prevalence? Right? Why? Could it possibly be because of certain socioeconomic factors? But meh. I try not to make fun of how he speaks because it's an actual disorder. But he's so dangerously misinformed. I can't help it. If I recall correctly, didn't he developed the speech problems that he has because of a certain surgeries he had or something. It wasn't because of the worm in his brain or some shit. Not because of the brain worm. Although the brain worm probably helped exacerbate the issue. Or was it because of something? I don't remember why. It wasn't because of a surgery. I don't remember why. Whatever. Doesn't really matter. Fuck this guy.
And one of the things
Especially with
that
the
we're
shit he's
going to
gonna
do
do
is
here.
we remove this function to the Administration for a Healthy America, to the Chronic Disease Division, the new Chronic Disease Division, is we are going to have updated real-time data so that people can look at this, so Americans can understand what is happening with chronic disease in this country in real time.
Okay, so still, okay, well, let's just, while he's doing his whole spiel and everything, the only reason why RFK Jr. is even, still prevalent within the Trump administration is because he grabs a very particular constituency for Trump, right? He's in there as HHS secretary, not because he should be there. Broadly speaking, every expert would just be like, yeah, he's, a wretched fucking pig. No, it's because he grabs a particular constituency for the Republican Party, and that's stupid, paranoid helicopter parents who have a paranoia about fucking autism in their children for whatever fucking reason because they watch too many fucking conspiracy videos on the fucking internet. That's the fucking constituency that he's meant to grab. This is purely fucking political shit. He's now got one of the most powerful fucking positions on the fucking planet. That's going to cause pain and suffering to a bunch of other people because, yellow swag 420, am I right? Who gives a shit? We only care about getting power here at the Republican Party. We don't care about, we're just plain evil. Fuck you. Or yeah, hey, RFK, how's those measles? How's that measles spread? How are you dealing with that? Had to go to any other funerals for recommending vitamin A as a miracle cure for measles? I'm just saying.
And I'd have to wait 2 years to react. We don't wait 2 years to react to a measles epidemic, and we should not, or any.
Yes, they did. The Pentagon did say that the world was due for another big pandemic. And what did Trump do? Because Obama also got those same reports, and he got extra vaccines and prepared for it just in case. Just in case, saying okay, well, you know what? We're gonna get extra vaccines, and we're gonna be prepared for any potential outcome. So we're gonna be prepared. We're gonna fund the CDC appropriately in case shit happens. And you know what? You know what I did? I took their funding away because I hate life. Let's be honest, folks. I hate it. I hate life. I just want you to suffer and die. That's all I care about. Let's be quite honest. Let's be honest, folks. Let's be honest. Well, anywho, more of Trump talking about Trump's results of his hatred of life.
Any kind of infectious disease. We shouldn't have to do that for diabetes or autism. The ASD prevalence rate in 8-year-olds is now 1 in 31. Shocking. There's an extreme risk for boys. Overall, the risk for boys of getting an autism diagnosis in this country is now 1 in 20. And as high in California, which has the best data collection. So it probably also reflects the national trend, 1 in 12.5 boys. This is part of an unrelenting upward trend. The prevalence 2 years ago was 1 in 36. Since the first ADDM report in 1990, which was 1992 births, autism has increased by a factor of...
Yeah, he doesn't understand what an autism spectrum is. He doesn't get it, obviously. But let's just he's just listing off a bunch of stuff. So let's just keep listening. See if he says anything.
That's 480%, I believe. The first ADDM survey was 22 years ago when prevalence was 1 in 150 children. In all the core states, the trend is consistently upward, and most cases now are severe. So about...
I have a feeling, severe cases of autism? What does he mean by that, right? Because, again, autism is a fucking spectrum. I do not believe him for even a second. What does he mean by severe cases? What does he mean by that? They can't these are 8-year-olds. What they can't do the speaking of, probably they have trouble with speech. They do they have problem with motor functions and shit like that. What do we mean by that? Because again, autism is a fucking spectrum. Okay, I have symptoms of autism. Boy Meets Minnie probably has symptoms of autism. Everyone has fucking symptoms of autism. Quite literally, my dad took me to see if I have autism because he thought you act really weirdly. We're gonna fucking take you in to get checked, see if you are autistic or whatever, right? And what was found in the diagnosis of the doctors, and what my dad basically said, he was just because he literally the doctor said, here are all the symptoms. And he just said, literally everyone can fucking have these behaviors. This shit's worthless. I'm not gonna fucking pursue it any further. And whoa, would you look at that? Crazy. It turns out it's all just a fucking spectrum. You can have certain symptoms of autism and just be high functioning. And just be normal in society. You can also just be, low functioning. Which is what, the more, people who have, who make, have trouble speaking and have, problem with motor functions. But those are extreme cases. Doesn't happen very often. And we've already talked about the potential, causes. A lot of it is environmental. Some of it is genetic. There's no cause for autism. Why is it going up? I don't know. What about all those, regulations you motherfuckers are constantly cutting back on in terms of, environmental regulations, mental health stuff, food regulations, quite literally just now, Trump cut back a bunch of the FDA regulations that the FDA has to follow. This is the fucking problem. This is why this shit's gonna keep rising. There's gonna be more and more mental health problems within the U.S. because you are a part of the party that fucking is causing these fucking problems. Now we gotta triple check our food back home in India. Yeah. Between how dog shit food is within America, which causes the fucking problems. That can have like cause problems with genetics within children. Obviously, when like kids are born, and it can also cause problems later on when if they are eating just a bunch of bad food, like no shit. But like, RFK is definitely gonna try. He's gonna try to do something about that. Sure, for sure, totally, really, guys. Now he cares more about the fucking vaccines. That's all that it is. It's all vaccines with this motherfucker. And yeah, like quite literally, if like is everyone gonna have like special CRISPR IVF fucking babies that they can afford in order to not have the fucking autism gene or some shit? No, probably not, because that shit's expensive. It's restricted for fucking poor people to get that. But whatever. Who gives a shit about that? Fuck poor people. Do you think this guy gives a shit about poor people? Yeah, right.
25% of the kids who are diagnosed with autism are nonverbal, non-toilet trained, and have other stereotypical features, head banging, tactile and light sensitivities, stimming, toe walking, etc.
Dude, I'm stimming right now, bro. Like, my legs are fucking shaking. I stim all the fucking time. I guess I'm a fucking low functioning severe autist. Like, okay, everyone fucking stims, bro. When they bro, goofy. But like again, here's the fucking problem. It's a lot of the language that he's using is he's trying to make like autism like this fucking boogeyman, like this like big scary thing, like be very afraid, and there's parts of this where he gets into it later where you can really fucking tell. He fucking is really hemming and hawing it up.
One of the things that I think that we need to move away from today is this ideology that the autism diagnosis, that the autism prevalence increases, the relentless increases, are simply artifacts of better diagnoses, better recognition, or changing diagnostic criteria. If you look at,
that is quite literally one of the main reasons why, more and more like autism cases are being caught out. The methods of diagnosis have significantly improved, and the technology to detect this stuff has also improved. Yeah, that's also another reason, probably why it's been going up significantly. Like, we all know about, like, RFK Jr. would be the type of guy to complain about the rise in, like, left-handedness of people with left-handedness. Like, look at this 1,000% increase in left-handed writers. It's because our children are being possessed by Satan. All because, left-handedness started being demonized less and less because of, the lesser prevalence of the church. RFK Jr. would be the type of dude who would be complaining about shit like that. Let's be quite honest here. It'd be like saying early cancers are more prevalent now than in 1960. Like, no shit, dog, we can catch it much sooner. Yeah, exactly.
At Table 3 of the ADDM report, it's clear that the rates are real, that they are increasing in the last 10 years, which is the beginning with the first one.
So, like, are you going to try to debunk the point about, about the diagnoses, like, getting better, like, the technology to catch it out being better or anything? Or are you just, like, going to just, like, throw out random statistics? Because, like, you can just throw out as many random statistics. We all know why, like, the statistics are going up or whatever. It's because this stuff is being caught out better. Like, okay.
Year by year, there is a steady, relentless increase. I want to, because this epidemic denial has become a feature in the mainstream media, and it's based on industry canard. And obviously, there are people who don't want us to look at environmental exposures, and so I want to just read you some of a little.
Yeah, you fucking are part of the party that aren't going to do anything about environmental exposures. In fact, you're the part of the party that's going to make that fucking worse. But yeah, like. Epidemic fucking denial. Yeah, it's really funny that this dude's talking about epidemic denial, but is the same motherfucker who talks about how COVID vaccines were designed for the Jews and the Chinese to be the only ones not affected by fucking COVID. That's really funny. Epidemic denial the rhetoric of epidemic denial is coming from this motherfucker. Like, nice meme, bro.
Excerpts from some of the older studies. The baseline for autism in this country was established with the largest epidemiological study in history. a study of all 900,000 children in the state of Wisconsin, children under the age of 12. They found 0.7%, 0.7 children had autism in every 10,000. That's less than 1 in 10,000. Today we're at 1 in 31.
Wait, hold on. Today we're at 1 in 31? But that's across the U.S. You reference one study from one fucking state, and then you conflate it with the whole fucking... Yeah, this is... Nah. This is some fucking bullshit. The statistics he's rattling off are more than likely true, but the problem that he's doing is he's conflating all of it. So, like, so then which is it? Like, why are you referencing the entire sort of national statistic when you're talking about, like, one state in particular? That's a little fucking weird.
That study also confirmed the 4-to-1 male-to-female ratio.
Okay, sure.
There were at that time...
Not going to talk anything about that conflation?
Just over 60 children in Wisconsin with autism. And today it's around 20,000. In 1987...
Also, again, like, he just says autism. What does autism mean? Like, are we talking severe cases? Low, like, high-functioning autistic people? Low-functioning autistic people? I don't like the term using low-functioning there, I'll be honest. But, like, I guess that's the technical term. I'm not sure. I don't like the term, to be honest, but, like, whatever. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, you're just saying there are a bunch of autistic kids in Wisconsin. Okay, yeah. Probably. Sure, man. Like, to what degree?
Evan, there was another exhaustive study, a peer-reviewed study in North Dakota,
set
out to count every child in the state with a pervasive developmental disorder, including autism. That study meticulously combed through
He's doing the fucking conflation. Again, it's the same fucking thing. Okay, so in North Dakota... It says that a bunch of kids have developmental disorders. That's not including autism. So we're just going to lump in autism with, like, what, BPD, ADHD, ADD, like narcissistic personality disorder or some shit, split personality disorder. Like, we're just going to lump those all together? That's all autism? Huh? I guess it's all autism, guys.
Every record, every diagnosis, and he even conducted in-person assessments of the entire population of 180,000 children under 18. The autism rate they found was 3.3 per 10,000, so that's in line with the 1 in 10,000 that was found in Wisconsin 17 years earlier.
Okay, but, like, again, you just did the fucking whole conflationary bit right there, bro. Like, you still haven't addressed any of this conflation, so, like, what's going on here? That's a little weird.
For context, today, the last number of 1 in 36 is 83 times higher. In 1987, out of every 1 million...
What were, like, the fucking technologies used in, like, diagnoses methods used in order to, like, catch out people with fucking autism? Because, again, that can be explained by the fact that technology has gotten better and the methods to catch out autism and other mental health disorders has gotten better. That can be easily explained away. But RFK is going to say, like, no. Actually, no. Still, like... You know, he says that he's going to find the cause of autism in September, right? By September, I'm going to find it. I will find it. You know, I'm looking forward to September where he just doesn't find it. Or he comes up with, like, some bullshit to say, like, it's this. And it's just like, oh, okay. This is like a nothing burger. Like, what are you talking about? But okay.
In kids, 330 were diagnosed with autism. Today, there are 27,777 for every million. If you accept the epidemic deniers narrative, you have to believe that researchers in North Dakota missed 98.8% of the children with autism. That thousands of profoundly disabled children were somehow invisible to doctors, teachers, parents, and even their own study. The same reason...
Damn, maybe, like, Republicans should constantly take away funding to medical facilities. Like they do all the time in states. Constantly cutting programs that could potentially find stuff like this because that's what they use the funding for, to do studies like this. But you support the party that fucking takes away funding for, like, healthcare services all the time. Like, what are you talking about? Buddy, why are you a Republican then? Like, Republicans don't give a shit about health. Again, the only reason why you're here, like I said before, it's all political, right? you fucking titillate the fucking senses of all these like conspiratorial anti-vax like helicopter parents, and that's a constituency that fucking Donald Trump picked up for himself. That was the point of you being tagged along, my friend.
Researchers who followed the original cohort for 12 years to double-check their number. They went back in 2000 and found that they had missed exactly one child. So doctors and therapists in the past were not stupid. They weren't missing all these cases. The epidemic is real.
Again, like I said before, this can just be explained away in multiple ways. Like, diagnoses methods have gotten better. Technology has gotten better to detect this stuff. And you represent the fucking party that constantly takes away funding from healthcare fucking services and other welfare programs that do research into stuff like this. So, you know, they're not able to fucking find as many cases. They're not able to conduct the fucking studies. And, whoa, guess what? It may be fucking completely rampant. Still hasn't addressed any of the fucking goddamn conflations at all whatsoever, you know? The conflation between, like, you know, it's you know, the 0.7 per 100 per 10,000. But, well, you know, it's in line with across the whole nation. It's like, that's not how that works. But, okay. Isn't it true that the Nazi Party did the same shit while cutting healthcare? Like demonizing of like autism or stuff, or like general like disability? Yeah, they did that all the time.
Between 1959 and 1965, researchers from 14 hospitals associated with major universities undertook the National Collaborative Perinatal Project, tracking 30,000 children from birth to age 8. Mm-hmm. This was no half-baked survey-based analysis. The study conducted 9 separate screenings covering neurology, psychology, speech, language, hearing, and visual function. Every developmental quirk, anomaly, and disorder was logged with painstaking detail. Autism, a condition characterized by profound impairments in social communication and behavior, would have stood out like a neon sign. There were 14 cases. That's 4.7 per 10,000. So we know what the historic...
Okay, so he's trying to say that, like, you know, that this is all just autism. Again, he's doing the fucking conflationary bit. Again, they could be dyslexic. They could be having, like, some motor issues, right? That's not always just autism. That's not how that works. Those can be other fucking issues. He's doing the fucking conflation bit. Trying to say, like, it's all autism, guys. It's because of autism. Because, again, what's, like, the overall sort of, like, specter? It's autism. Autism is this spooky ghost that can be every mental health thing or mental health issue, or it's none of them at the same fucking time.
Numbers are, and we know what the numbers are today, and it's time for everybody to stop attributing this to this ideology of epidemic denial.
Again, very funny that this dude talks about epidemic denial when he's the same fucking dude who argued that the Chinese developed fucking COVID vaccines just to only work on Chinese people and Jews. But, well, you know, whatever.
In 2009, the California state legislature charged the Mind Institute at UC Davis with because this myth was already becoming pervasive, the myth of epidemic denial was already becoming pervasive in the mainstream media. The California legislature directed the Mind Institute at UC Davis to answer the question. And Irva Hertz-Pichota was a highly esteemed, revered scientist, neurologist, and epidemiologist, came back with a definitive answer: the epidemic is real. Only a very, very small portion of it can be changed to can be charged to better recognition or better diagnostic criteria. I want to say a couple of other things. There are many, many other studies that affirm this. And instead of listening to this canard of epidemic denial, all you have to do is start reading a little science, because the answer is very clear.
What was the name of the guy he mentioned there?
Or better diagnostic criteria. I want to say a couple of other things. There are many, many other studies that affirm this. And instead of listening to this canard of epidemic denial, all you have to do is start reading a little science, because the answer is very clear. Hertz-Pichota was a...
Herbert's Pichota? Who is this person? Herbert's Pichota. That is definitely not how you fucking spell that name. UC Davis Neurologist. I'm curious. I have never heard of this person. Well, I'm looking at the Department of Neurology, right? Child Neurology. Herbert Pachota. Comprehensive Neurology. Wasn't under Child Neurology. Nothing under Comprehensive Neurology. Neuro-oncology. I'm just going to look through. Multiple sclerosis. Nothing there. Movement disorders. No, not there. Maybe they're ex-faculty. Maybe. Or, I mean, it's not beneath, it's not beneath fucking RFK Jr. to fucking just lie. I'm still not fucking finding this dude. Seeing a lot of other names here, but nothing. No, Herbert's Pachota. Doesn't help that I don't know how to fucking spell this dude's name. Traumatic brain injury. Nope. Sleep medicine. Nope. Still no Herbert's Pachota. He said UC Davis. He did say UC Davis, right? I did hear that correctly, right, Boy Meets Minnie? I'm not finding anything about this Herbert's Pachota individual. Where is it? Herbert's Pachota. I'm not finding this fucking dude anywhere. So I'm just gonna assume that this is just some random fucking crank, right? Let me listen to that again.
To answer the question, and Herbert's Pachota was a...
So Herbert's Pachota? I'm still not fucking finding this dude, like, anywhere. Like, this dude does not fucking exist. Like, who is this guy? What's, like, the hearing? California... state hearing... Or maybe it would be better if I look up the RFK claim itself, right? Because I'm just not fucking finding this dude. RFK Jr. claim on UC Davis neurologist. Signs say might loosen stem cell regulations. No. Fact checking RFK. I am really not fucking finding anything about this fucking dude.
Highly esteemed, revered scientist, neurologist, and epidemiologist came back with a definitive answer. The epidemic is real. Only a very small portion of it can be changed to better record, can be charged to better record.
If he's highly fucking renowned, why can't I fucking find this dude? Still don't know who this fucking Herbert's Pachota is. Don't know who that guy is, so, you know, moving on.
Diagnostic criteria. I want to say a couple of other things.
Could just be
many other studies that affirm this. And instead of listening to this canard of epidemic denial, all you have to do is start reading a little science, because the answer is very clear, and this is catastrophic for our country. There's a recent study by Blaxel et al. And a team of other researchers.
I can only assume that he's probably just
in this country by 2035, so within 10 years, will be $1 trillion a year. This is added to already astronomical healthcare costs. And then there's an individual
Yeah, but you're the fucking dude who's not for Medicare for all, which would not have this problem, but well, you know, nice fucking meme.
Injury. These are kids that this is a preventable disease. We know it's an environmental exposure. It has to be. Genes do not cause epidemics. They can provide a vulnerability. You need an environmental.
Yeah, he's just fucking lying. Like, I'm not finding this person either. Well, Boy Meets Mini, he's not finding the guy. So this is just some random fucking made up dude. Did you also, by any chance, did you find, like, the state hearing he's fucking talking about? Does that fucking exist? Is there anything about that? Boy Meets Mini? I even looked up RFK UC Davis, and all I got was, the Mind Institute at the uni. So, either it's just not been broadly reported on. I mean, this was about a day ago that all this fucking that he had this like stupid little press conference, or he's just full of shit. I'm more inclined to believe that he's just completely full of shit.
Toxin. And Hertz Pachoda pointed out that that because of this mythology.
Okay, I'm gonna fucking try to say Bert's Pachoda. Nothing. Or if I just say Pachoda. I'm getting like lawyers. I'm not finding this dude anywhere. If he's so fucking renowned, why doesn't he show up? What's going on? Dude just doesn't exist. Probably made up. I don't know. Maybe the brainworm fucking made it up for him. I don't know.
At 10 to 20, that the amount of money and resources put into studying genetic causes, which is a dead end, has been historically 10 to 20 times the amount spent by NIH and other agencies to study environmental factors, to study exposures, to study external factors, and that's where we're going to find the answer. This is an individual tragedy.
Again, like I said before, you are a part of the party that is the main sort of catalyst that takes away funding from this to do these particular types of research. But again, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's all about, you know, your fucking stupid fucking conspiracy theories.
As well, autism destroys families. More importantly, it destroys our greatest resource, which are our children. These are children who should not be suffering like this. These are kids who, many of them were fully functional and regressed because of some environmental exposure into autism when they're 2 years old.
What do you mean by environmental exposure when they were 2 years old? What does he mean by that? What does he mean by that, chat? I can think of something, you know, typically around that age you tend to get vaccinated for MMR in particular, but I don't think RFK is going to really mention that because then, you know, the mainstream media is just going to run with that. You know, he's not really mentioning that. I wonder why.
And these are kids who will never pay taxes. They'll never hold a job. They'll never play baseball. They'll never write a poem. They'll never go out on a date. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted. And we have...
Bro, what the fuck are you talking about? No! These kids, they're not going to be able to play fucking baseball! No! They won't be able to hold a job! Again, bro does not understand that autism is a fucking spectrum. He's doing the fucking conflation bit. Again, he seems to think, like, again, like this autism is like this spooky, scary mental health ghost or something. That's, you know, it's gonna turn all of your kids mentally ill automatically. Because, again, like, let's be honest here. This is also the fucking same dude who does not, like, didn't he also say, like, he doesn't see people with, like, mental health, illnesses, as, like, people, right? Like, he's trying to fucking, because, you know, it's the same shit the fucking, the Nazis did. You know, justifications by making, like, particular diseases these sort of, like, these, like, doomful fucking specters that are, like, ravage the children or whatever. In order to just, like, dehumanize a bunch of people with mental health, with a bunch of mental, illnesses. That's, like, the point of this. It's inherently dehumanizing language.
We have to recognize we are doing this to our children, and we need to put an end to it. And I think I'm going to have Walter
Bro, you
Zaharadzi,
support the
who is
party
the most senior researcher,
doesn't care
for this
about
project
fixing
for
these
ADPM,
problems.
and has been doing this for many years, to come up and say a little.
Good morning. Thank you for being here.
I don't know if I care about his like little butt buddy talking. I don't think I give a shit about that.
The autism epidemic is not real. If you read the literature, it is absolutely indefensible.
Again, he's like what literature? What books? What articles? Are you gonna like? What's your sources? Are you gonna be specific? Or anything?
To continue to promote this. But it doesn't take you to read the literature. It just takes a little common sense. If the epidemic is an artifact, a better diagnostic criteria, a better recognition, then why are we not seeing it in older people? Why is this only happening in young people?
Should be fucking obvious, like I mentioned earlier. You know what tended to fucking happen a lot more? Because of Ronald fucking Reagan, market fucking deregulation. Dumbass. A lot of market fucking deregulation happened of a lot of different products in America, thus making worse quality products. And we're talking about like food here, stuff that's used broadly speaking for you know, development of children when they're young, which causes problems. We know that this is the fucking case. If you don't have access to, well, good fucking healthy food or anything, problems tend to fucking happen. Crazy.
You know, I asked Walter before we came out here, I said, have you ever seen anybody our age? I'm 71 years old with full-blown autism, headbanging, nonverbal, non-toilet trained, stimming, toe walking, these other stereotypical features. Where are these people walking around the mall? You can't find them. They're not in homes. There are no homes for them. There are no...
Dude, do you fucking go around walking in the mall finding, like, non-functioning autistic kids? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What? What do you mean? This is fucking demented, bro. Jesus.
For them. Why are we seeing them on the street? Anybody can look around and see that this is a canard. And then you have to ask yourself, why is it so pervasive? Why has it been thrown up against us for so many years? And clearly there are industries. This is coming from an environmental toxin. And somebody made a profit by putting that environmental toxin into our air, our water, our medicines, our food.
Yeah, true.
And it's to their benefit to say, to normalize it. To say, this is all normal.
Again, he's not wrong when he's saying this. What he's saying is correct. There's a bunch of toxins and fucking bullshit that go into food. Who did that? Reagan with the deregulation of the markets. We know who did that. You are a part of the party that fucking did that, dude. Like, what do you mean? You're a part of the business-friendly fucking interests. Like, literally, he defunded... Yeah, like Boy Meets Minnie just said. Like, is Trump going to do anything about it? He just defunded the FDA. So, like, no, you don't give a shit about that. It's crazy. RFK is also pro-deregulation. Exactly. He's not going to do anything about this. This is complete nonsense. What you need is government fucking regulation to take care of this problem. Not fucking, like, waffling on about, like, the causes of fucking autism. I've already listed what they are. It's something fucking got scrambled in the fucking brain's chemistry, and can also be fucking environmental factors when the fucking kid was growing up, or was in the fucking womb, depending on what, like, the parents ingested. That's what fucking causes it. I mean, he talks about the one part, not really so much about the other part. He thinks, like, autism can't be a thing that is a thing that can't be genetic. No. Every other fucking study says you're just completely fucking full of shit. But you're gonna, like, needle and dime. You're gonna, like, only just nitpick about, like, the studies saying, like, it's increasing, it's increasing, it's increasing. It's like, I mean... And, like, conflate all the fucking numbers constantly. He's just full of it. He doesn't give a fuck about this. It's because he wants to make, like, a fucking scare about it. That's the point. That this huge looming specter of autism is going to claim all of your children. That's the point.
Normal, it's always been here. But that's not good for our country. And it's not good for the press to not be more inquisitive, to not be more skeptical. And within 3 weeks, and probably we're hoping in 2 weeks, we're going to announce it.
Yeah, I find it really funny that he completely only blames the press about this. He constantly talks about mainstream media. Buddy, what are you fucking talking about? It's not profitable for the fucking press to go into stuff like that. It just isn't. And again, you support the fucking party that is okay with the further privatization of fucking media resources. Like, Trump literally was talking about going after fucking PBS not that long ago. Stupid.
A series of new studies to identify precisely what the environmental toxins are that are causing it. This has not been done before. And we're going to do it in a thorough and comprehensive way, and we're going to get back to it with an answer to the American people very, very quickly.
Wait.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Secretary Kennedy, I was not diagnosed with autism in 1994 when I initially did it. It took me 5 years to get diagnosed later. You also talk about the fact that the numbers increase with Black and Latino people, but your own study says these findings may indicate that improvements in ASD awareness, identification, and access to services in communities among Black and Latino, Hispanic, and API children have improved. Do you think that, or are you denying that in the past Black, Latino, and API people had not been diagnosed, they've been diagnosed with behavioral disorders, they've been disciplined, they've been incarcerated, and now they're finally getting the services that they need?
Well, yeah, and
I mean, that's a pretty decent question. It makes sense why a lot of Black and Latino people, generally speaking, would probably be more susceptible to developing some form of mental health disorders, right? Because of, guess what? The redlining and other policies like that, putting a lot of poor neighborhoods by like factories and stuff, like industrial areas that put out a lot of pollutants, which guess what? Can also help in sort of worsening mental health problems. But again, RFK Jr., you are supporting and are part of the party that had a hand to play in those fucking kinds of regulations. But, it's more important to only think about the causes of fucking autism.
there are small slivers of the autism epidemic, maybe 10% to 25% according to the studies. The highest studies are around 25%. That can be attributed to better recognition and better diagnosis. That means 85% are still, or 75% to 80% are part of an epidemic, and that's too many. And that is what we need to redress.
Walter, do you have something you'd like to add?
There's better recognition of autism and better awareness because there are more children with autism, and the professionals have greater...
That is a fucking lie. Bull fucking shit. I literally talked about it earlier, dude. Where literally I got fucking tested for autism. You want to know what fucking happened? The doctor just said the fucking different symptoms, and that was it. And then my dad was just like, he just said, well, fuck it, whatever. It could just mean that anyone has fucking autism. It was difficult to get, fucking brain scan images, fucking MRIs and shit back in those fucking days. Way, way more difficult. It's way easier to fucking do stuff like this. Technology and diagnoses has improved. Just, saying, oh, that's not the entirety of the case. That can't be the reason why. Is just a fucking lie.
reason to learn from what their experience and to diagnose. I wish the contrary was true, but it's not like better awareness pushes something that's not there. Rather, something that's there is being recognized.
Can you please say your first and last name and outlet before?
Yeah, again, it's just they're not interested. They're gonna try to find. We already, broadly speaking, have a pretty good idea of what causes autism and most other fucking mental health fucking not conspiracy theories, mental health illnesses. A lot of it is fucking genetic. It can just fucking randomly happen. And some of it is environmental, absolutely. We all know about lead and fucking gasoline and stuff, which caused a spike in the fucking crime wave. That was pretty much one of the main reasons why there was a big crime wave happening in the fucking 90s, was because of lead and gasoline. And as soon as that was gone rid of, or in leaded paint and stuff like that, and when that was gone rid of, whoa, crime precipitously went down. Crazy, right? Whoa. People stopped committing crimes as soon as they actually took care of and regulated some stuff. Crazy, I know. Who would have thought? What's the cause of deranged vaccine conspiracy theories? Why are they increasing? Is it an environmental toxin? Yeah, we could just do the fucking same fucking meme, right, Alex? Yeah, why are there all these stupid helicopter parents constantly worrying about fucking autism? Is it because of environmental toxins? That's a little weird. I don't know. Could be something in the air. Could be something in the food.
Asking a question.
Secretary Kennedy, I'm going to say with the Associated Press, some of the CDC's own research has concluded that there's a genetic link at play with autism. Are you saying today that you don't trust that research or that it was wrong? Could you expand a little bit more on that?
No, there is, we have really good genetic markers now, and they provide a vulnerability. But those genetic markers alone are not going to dictate your destiny. You need an environmental toxin. There are many.
You need an environmental toxin. You need an environmental toxin. What do you mean by that? That's a little interesting.
Genetic markers that dictate the methylation capacity of the human body. Those contribute to, those dictate, listen.
Again, I find it really funny how this man pretends like he's a fucking health expert, even though, like, he has, like, no qualifications. Like, does he have, like, any background? Like, he's a fucking environmental lawyer. It's hilarious. Don't tell him about genes. RFK is pretty much a Nazi. He said Jews and Chinese weren't affected by COVID as white people. I've said that example, like, 3 times at this point, Alex. Again, the only he's trying to make, like, autism this, like, huge overlooming specter, and he's trying to, like, fearmonger about it. That's, like, the point of him constantly talking about autism right now. That's why he's doing it.
Cigarettes, and only 1 in 5 died from lung cancer. There were 4 of
It's
them.
all good, Alex. You're good.
And those were the ones that had some circumstances, probably genetic, that made them more susceptible to it. And the same is true. We know that that glutathione production, and glutathione is an enzyme that helps the human body excrete metals and toxins. People with low glutathione production are more vulnerable. People with the MTHFR gene, which dictates methylation, are more vulnerable. People with high testosterone are more vulnerable. So there are a lot of genetic vulnerabilities. But you need an environmental toxin.
Alex,
Do you need an environmental toxin? Do you? You're just making that fucking claim. Is that how that fucking works? Dude, you got too much fucking small... Again, we're also talking about the party who's not gonna fucking do anything about that. To be quite honest. Because, I mean, if that environmental toxin gets into the way of the corporate profits, who cares if there's some extra autistic kids?
Fox, Alex.
Hi, Alex Hoff, Fox News. In seeking out an environmental toxin, do you feel that if one or several are detected or put on your radar, do you think it would be the same one causing issues at both ends of the spectrum? Children who struggle with, let's say, sensory issues, all the way to those who are fully care dependent, unable to speak. Would it be the same catalyst in all of those varying conditions, you think?
Well, those are the kind of studies we're going to do. And you're right, there's a spectrum of injuries, and we don't know.
I have a question. What's Hoffbox News? Or HuffPost? I don't even know what outlet that was fucking from. Let's be honest.
There are
I've never
studies
heard of that outlet.
that look at maternal activation, so that something happens in the womb. There are studies that look at other genetic causes. The issue that we know is genes don't cause epidemics. You need an environmental toxin, and we're going to look at all the.
Yeah, again, because this is. I heard Fox News. Oh yeah, it probably was Fox News. Again, he's saying like genes don't cause an epidemic. How do you know that this is an epidemic? Like, there's an autism epidemic. Is it an epidemic? Is autism being, like, is there an autism epidemic? Like, am I not going to get anything from the mainstream media? Like, who the fuck knows? Again, the problem is that, the reason why it's getting all fucking lumped in, because, like, he's lumping in basically high-functioning autists, but also with people who are low-functioning, right? Who have all the fucking issues, like, stereotypically assumed with fucking autism. He's lumping them all in together as, like, one sort of, like, umbrella term. Right? RFK lays out new studies on autism, shuts down better diagnoses as a cause.
We're going to turn now to health.
Shut! Fair question. Studies also suggest that autism risk is heavily rooted in genetics by as much as 80%. But RFK Jr. claims it's only 25%. Dr. Walter Zarodny, a clinical psychologist and professor who studies autism at Rutgers, joined Kennedy at... so that's the Walter guy he had. Okay, joined Kennedy at Tuesday's press conference to emphasize that there has been a true increase in cases, something he said he's seen throughout his career in New Jersey, though he acknowledged, unlike Kennedy, a wider variety of possibilities from environmental exposures to other risk factors. Contradicting what Kennedy says. That's a little interesting. The true increase, there's better awareness of autism, but better awareness of autism cannot be driving disability like autism to increase by 300% in 20 years. Dude, it's like I said before, it's the fucking left-handedness fucking thing all over again. We've developed, like, autism doesn't get as fucking, like, stigmatized as it used to. Although, like, for whatever reason, RFK wants to fucking stigmatize it. So that's cool. So, like, a bunch of people, it's becoming more and more aware. More and more studies are happening. Diagnoses are becoming better. Detect to find it is becoming better. So, we're finding more fucking cases of it. Crazy. And again, like, does the whole fucking conflation of autism. Lumping together, like, people who are high functioning versus low functioning, all in the same place. It's just completely fucking conspiratorial nonsense. Not every case is as severe as Kennedy describes. However, many people diagnosed with autism have lived high-functional adult lives. The recent CDC report found fewer than 40% of children diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder were classified as having intellectual disability, meaning an IQ of less than 70. Dr. Barry Present, an adjunct professor in the Department of Communicative Disorders at the University of Rhode Island and director of the private practice Childhood Communication Services, told ABC News that Kennedy's comments misinterpret what autism is like for families. I am not dismissing the challenges. There are considerable challenges in a lot of those barriers to services. Let me say that again. There are considerable challenges, and a lot of those are barriers to services. That's a little suspicious. Who is the one that's supporting the party that puts up barriers to services? Okay, dude. Like I mentioned earlier, we've been doing a parent retreat weekend for 27 years where we spent a weekend with 60 parents and family members. And we're not meeting with family members and parents who say autism is just a tragedy and it's hell in our lives. They talk about the positives and negatives, the joys as well as the challenges. Autism Speaks also released a statement on Wednesday calling Kennedy comments extremely disappointing and damaging. Dude, you know it's bad when fucking Autism Speaks says that what you're saying is bad. That's fucking crazy. That is so fucking funny. Like, Autism Speaks, which is like basically a fucking hate campaign against autistic and people with neurological fucking disorders, is saying you're full of shit. Uh-oh, stinky. Autism is not a preventable condition, the nonprofit autism organization said. The suggestion that it is, especially when linked to environmental toxins without scientific evidence, contributes to decades-old misinformation and distracts from the real needs of autistic people and their families. That's so fucking funny, bro. Like, he's just claiming that we know it's an environmental exposure. If you know it's an environmental exposure, then publish that. Say what it is, or what? We have to wait until fucking September? Cope. Yeah, he's just full of it. He just hates autistic people. He hates people with mental disorders. He wants to gin up a fucking mob about all this fucking shit. Get more people fucking fear-mongering about this stuff. The same shit that the fucking Nazis did.
Potential culprits. We're going to look at mold. We're going to look at food additives. We're going to look at pesticides. We're going to look at air and water and medicines. So, we're going to look at ultrasound, because there's a timeline that, something happened. In fact, Congress at the EPA ordered EPA to tell us what year the autism epidemic began. The EPA scientists came back and said it happened in 1989. You have to find a toxin that became ubiquitous around that time period. And that affected every demographic, from Cubans in Key Biscayne to Inuit in Alaska. And that affects boys at a 4-to-1 ratio as girls. There's a limited universe of those, but actually it's quite large. And, Herbert Pichota was the one who suggested that, one of the things we have to
Still
look at is-
fucking referencing the one guy, Herbert's Pichota, who no one can seem to find. This renowned epidemiologist. Like, Herbert's Pichota. Herbert's Pichota. I think that's how you fucking spell it. If he's so fucking renowned, RFK, why can't you fucking find this guy? He's probably done a bunch of speaking tours. He apparently spoke at the California state legislature. Unless I'm fucking spelling the name wrong. I have no idea how to fucking spell this guy, but apparently he's like the guy to talk to. That's a little weird.
Ultrasound, I don't think that that's probably a factor, but it's one of the exposures that became ubiquitous during that period, and we're going to look at all of them agnostically. We're going to find the potential exposures that increased during that time period, and then we're going to see if there is a link to this injury.
Thank you. Nathan at Epic Times.
Did he just call autism an injury? It's an illness. It's not the same thing.
I'm sorry. Sure. Please go.
Like what?
Nathan.
Yes, Nathan Worcester with Epic Times. During that same time period of increasing autism prevalence or diagnoses, there's also been a significant...
What the fuck is Epic Times? Oh, what is it? If it's Epoch, I heard Epic. I did not hear... I mean, Epoch Times is like, far-right schizoids. I heard Epic. And it just keeps going. There is no Epic Times. It just autocorrects to Epoch Times every single time. Oh, wait. No, there is an Epic Times. Epic Times is a news website network started by Jerry Doyle. Epic Times featured contributors such as a former deputy undersecretary of defense in the George Bush administration, Jed Babin, an actress and author, Anita Finlay. Who the fuck is Jerry Doyle? Well, he's a Republican. Okay, good to see. I mean, Epoch Times. Well, apparently Epic Times does actually exist. Oh, this Jerry Doyle guy who opened up the Epic Times, apparently died in 2016. Oh, Rip Bozo have to pay respects, I guess. I don't know. No, but he was a Republican. Who gives a shit? And won the primary, political efforts. But he got his ass owned in the general, I guess. Okay. He lost. Oh, well. Doyle endorsed Ron Paul for the presidency of the United States in 2011. But okay.
An increase in maternal and paternal age. Couldn't that be a significant contributor beyond maternal and paternal age?
Yeah, we're going to look at all of that. We're going to look at obesity in the parents. We're going to look at the age of the parents. We're going to look at diabetes in the parents.
Isn't that like an old trope, by the way? Yeah, like the older the parents, the more likely the kid comes out autistic. Isn't that like a trope? Right? There's no evidence of that. I knew, like, there's a kid I knew in my fucking private school. His fucking parents had him when they were, like, in their 40s or some shit. Or, like, late 40s. And the dude was, I don't know, a perfectly normal dude. Perfectly normal kid. He was a bit of a fucking asshole. But, wasn't autistic or anything.
And look at all these potential exposures, and because of AI and because of the digitalization of health records and the mass of health records that are now available to us, we can do this much more quickly than has ever been done in the past.
Cheyenne. This is our last question. Thank you.
Do you still pledge to have answers by September, or is that going to be the beginning of this process? And are you open to following the science regardless of whether it confirms some of your expectations or not?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna follow the science no matter what it says, and we are.
Yeah, yet he completely contradicts like literally what every fucking doctor and even fucking Autism Speaks says about this about fucking autism. So you know, No, I guarantee you, September's gonna roll around. He's gonna provide like he's either gonna like come up with an excuse to kick the can down the road, or he's not gonna find shit.
We will have some of the answers by September. You know, it's going to be an evolving process. We're going to
Wait, I thought originally we were gonna have the answers. That's what your original claim was, that you were gonna have the answers. Now you're gonna have some of the answers. Already fucking coming up with excuses.
involve. You know, we're going to issue grants the way that it's always done to university researchers and others. We're going to remove the taboo. People will know they can research and they can follow the science no matter what it says, without any kind of fear that they're going to be censored, that they're going to be gaslighted, that they're going to be silenced, they're going to be defunded, delicensed, and we're going to give them permission to do this research, and then we're going to open it up to.
Yeah, yet you fucking are a part of the administration that is directly fucking anti-science, but you know, whatever.
The research community, and we're going to task them with certain outcomes, and we're going to have them come and bid on how to do the research. This is all being run by Jay Bhattacharya, and you know, I think Martin Goldorf may be also working on this on designing the grant proposals. So it's going to be done by credible scientists, by the most credible scientists.
Like, the funniest thing about this is even like the fucking professor guy, the doctor that he brought on, contradicted what he fucking said. It's so fucking goofy, man.
From all over the world, and we're going to do it very, very quickly.
Sure, man.
Yeah, one more question.
Once you identify...
You identify yourself.
Oh, sorry, I know that was with yourself here. Once you identify which environmental toxins are causing autism, what do you expect the impact to be on the industries that are causing those? You cited industry as
I think we're going to figure out a way to make pressure on them to remove it. And I think also, you know, there will be market forces that also exert pressure on them to remove it. And you know, I want to say that I'm very grateful to President Trump, because he has me on day one of this job with making this a priority of finding out what's causing the autism epidemic, and we are going to do it for him. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna find shit. I think he's completely fucking full of it. Again, like, you know, doctors are like saying like, yeah, it's not true, and fucking Autism Speaks is also saying like, yeah, it's not a preventable condition. The suggestion that it is, that it's fucking environmental, that it's linked to environmental toxins without any evidence is stupid. Because it's not. Like, could it be because of like poor fucking food? Most of it's genetic, right? Like, could developmental disorders happen because of like what food is being fucking ingested? Yeah, that happens. Because of like poor regulations on food, which you're a part of the party that is okay with deregulating markets and doing shit like that. But no, for the most part, autism is fucking caused by, you know, something happening in the fucking brain chemistry. And the only reason why it's becoming more and more prevalent, like the fucking example that I came up with before, or not the example, but the analogy that I said before, whoa, a lot more people are writing left-handed. There must be an epidemic of left-handedness or some shit now, right? Right, RFK? In his mind, that has to be the fucking case. But yeah, he just wants to fucking fearmonger. That's the whole point of what he's doing. He wants to fearmonger. He wants to make like a big fuss and a muss and a buss about it. That's the point. And get like all the like the constituencies riled up. Just say complete fucking nonsense about it. Maybe he'll do the Andrew Wakefield thing where he'll like patent something, the cure of autism, and just like sell it to like a bunch of people. I don't know. RFK seems like the type of dude who would fucking do that shit. He's just a complete fucking grifter.